y'all know, if y'all watch me, y'all know I'm Team Free Melly, bro. So apparently, it's supposed to be a lot of shit going on. That's all I'm gonna say. And I've been seeing it on TikTok. And my dog, whoever this is, Cuff Boys, he done dropped the video to it. So me personally, I want to upload this video because Free Melly, man. You know, free Melly. He ain't do it. I can't speak for the other people, but he ain't do it, man. Let's get into the video.
Ynw Melly had a hearing today to discuss the search warrant altercation between Melly's mom and the lead detective, Moretti. The state attorney's office is being accused of not filing Brady information from this incident and holding it for over a year before the last trial. Melly's team is either trying to get the case dismissed or just recuse the entire state attorney's office from the case. Yeah, these are major allegations made against the state attorney's office that they withheld information from Melly's defense team.
You can't do that.
This Brady material has to do with the lead detective on the case that investigated everything and the guy that signed all the affidavits and everything. So his credibility is a big issue here. It gets pretty wild too. The judge gets mad. The prosecutor, Christine Bradley, has to testify and explain her side of the situation because her credibility is at risk. Subscribe. Let's get right into it. Here's Melly walking in right here, smiling at the family like always.
Man, Free Melly.
I gotta say, I talked to Melly's mom on Instagram. I was always a little worried that she would be mad at me the way I cover the trial, but I try to do it without any bias towards Melly whatsoever, because I was a fan, obviously, or I still am a fan of his music. But I do it realistically, and she told me she wasn't mad at me, and she liked the way I was covering the trial, I think. So yeah, pretty cool.
All right, let's get on the record, please. The State Court versus Jamel Dennis, the president is the defendant. Where's Ms. Bradley?
Ms. Bradley, not.
She's not joining us today? No. She going to be on the case in the future or not?
Yes.
She is?
Yes.
That's your anticipation?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Wait, Miss Bradley isn't there yet. Like she's late or something. The lead prosecutor.
Look, all we're trying to do is move this case along. All we're trying to do is have a hearing and have the witness before you. I probably can come up with
I can
this
see,
court
bro.
the witnesses to show. I don't know what else to do.
So this is obviously someone from the state attorney's office right here trying to defend them from everything that the defense has brought with the Brady material. And this is one of Melly's lawyers right here. I don't know his name.
What the fuck is the Brady shit he talking about?
First of all, I just want to point out, this was not a subpoena for a discovery deposition. This was a subpoena for them to show up to court today, so you could have the hearing that you set.
That we've just become aware of what we think is a major transgression by the lead officer in the case, that we have 4 different Brady notices that are all different. This happened in October of 22, and the state attorney's office sat on it through a whole trial, and up till a couple weeks ago when we received these Brady notices.
You have committed obstruction of justice and attempted witness tampering and felony for misuse of public office.
Who got witness tampering? What the fuck?
To their actions since October of 2022.
That's what it says, Sean.
That's right. Very serious allegation.
Very serious allegation, very serious, we believe, alleged conduct.
I want to know what the good faith basis that you have is to make that statement.
Filed in the court file. It's the deposition of Michelle Boutros, which chronologically testified to what happened since October of 22, and who was involved and who had knowledge of what happened. And they sat on it for 11 and a half months, where a whole trial.
So what I'm getting is basically like somebody ain't tell somebody some important information that was withheld from themselves. Y'all like that video word?
For a year.
So if you don't understand what he just said, real quick, basically to sum it up, the prosecution held Brady information from the defense for literally a year while the first trial happened, which violates Melly's due process rights to a fair trial.
The head elected state attorney. Number 3, all of his minions that are involved in are subpoenaing them.
He just called them minions. Everyone in the state attorney's office a minion. This is Jamie Benjamin, Melly's lawyer right now, talking, by the way. And he has been working. That's the guy that's put in a lot of the motions. He's gonna have a lot to say today, I'm sure.
Breaking it down, because I'm a little slow, bro. So we really locked in, twin.
Sure.
Do you have anything other than that statement of Boutros in the deposition?
Not yet. That's why we want to take the discovery of these individuals. What else could I have? If they deep six this.
That's all I'm asking you.
No, Judge, that is the starting point.
The judge just asked if there's anything besides what Michelle Boutros said in her deposition, basically like admitting that Moretti lied on record. Obviously, they can't have any physical evidence of this because it's the goddamn state attorney's office and they can't. How are they going to get that?
What more should we have than a sworn testimony from a career prosecutor in the public corruption unit who testified to certain activities of not only herself, but Mr. Keller, Ms. Bradley, and everything else. And he stepped in and signed a Brady notice in a case where Ms. Bradley didn't, and then she came in and switched her testimony in the next one. What could be more compelling
Judge getting mad as
basis
hell.
than to show the actual prosecutor on this homicide prosecutor that tried the first case without telling us anything about Moretti is now changing her story 3-4 times. There's probable cause to believe they violated the law. If you look at the statute, the specific paragraphs cover contact just like this, just like they used to try to allege that Mr. Demons did witness tampering. They did the same thing.
Oh, what a good line right there. Because Melly just got charged with witness.
That's the oh my god. I'm sorry. Fucking with shit. That's tough.
Tampering. He's like, they did the same thing. They had shit from the defense supposed to be disclosed a year ago before the first trial. Like, that's a serious accusation.
That the elected state attorney committed obstruction of justice, attempted witness tampering, and a felony pursuant to 838.
Absolutely.
State attorney.
Absolutely. The state attorney, the elected official, Harold Pryor, and both, they have good faith belief that he sat on this.
Well, you have more than that. You're saying you have probable cause.
I think there may be probable cause based on
I think there may be probable cause.
Judge,
Serious allegations.
this is a serious matter.
That's right.
This is an absolute serious matter
I agree
that everybody
100%
sat on
with that.
and hid under the carpet for a year.
I don't know that everybody did, but
You don't know, so why are you asking me why I'm doing it? Because we allege it, and we need to ferret it out, Your Honor. And it is a serious, but because it's serious, you don't think that Mr. Deming sitting over there isn't thinking this is a serious matter when his life is on the line, or the state
I
attorney's
think that's a
office
serious
barely-
charge too. I'm not minimizing
It's not
it.
two. That's why we're here, Your Honor. With all due respect.
All due respect, it's a serious matter, but so is allegations about corruption in the state attorney's office at the highest point. The state attorney's office told her to be honest, straightforward, tell the truth.
So why wouldn't you believe testimony like that that says that Mr. Pryor knew about it the day it happened and didn't do anything about it?
Dude, this just got heated right there. Melly's lawyer got the
Facts.
vibe that he was downplaying the situation and saying that they didn't really have real evidence of it. But, I mean, if someone at the state attorney's office who's been in the office for 20 years is saying that,
That Killoran sat on it because he knew about it the very day for over a year, watching a first-degree murder case be tried without even investigating further this allegation.
I think everything in that deposition is important, but I also thought Ms. Boutros indicated that it wasn't the position of the state attorney's office or the Mr. Pryor or the individual supervisors to go ahead and review what was done by whoever's involved in the case, that they anticipate and expect that the prosecutor handling is going to do whatever Brady notices are out.
Well, let's find out, Judge.
so in the deposition, Michelle Boutros said that the people higher up at the state attorney's office, there's
My
no
bad
way
if I
they
ain't
could
saying
look
that,
at
but I'm
every
really
single
locked in.
pleading that happens underneath them because there's like hundreds of fucking state attorneys, obviously. It'd be impossible to like look at every single thing that goes on. But what Melly's team is saying that they knew, they found out the day it happened, like they've known.
That is violates that statute. And I believe that in and of itself, based on one person's sworn testimony, is probable cause. I believe, based on your body language, with your arms crossed and a scowl on your face, looking at us like we did something wrong, should be
I
much
think
more.
this is really serious.
This is so serious. Why do you think we're all here? Why do you think this has blown up like this? Not because we did something for a year. It's because the state attorney's office and Mr. Pryor, who directs the office, who was elected by the people of Broward
let
County,
him
he was
cook.
and participated in the conspiracy to hide it.
Tensions are high between Mr. Jamie Benjamin right here and Judge John Murphy.
Thank you. Where's Miss Brad? I don't understand why she's not here.
I believe she has a deposition. I hope she's texting this morning. She has a deposition.
He just laughed because this guy right here, I don't know his name, he's from the state attorney's office right here. He just said, I believe she's at a deposition, and now he's just like so over it because why would she be at a deposition right now? This is a very important situation that she needs to be here for.
Somebody's
This
life is on the
an
line,
issue
and you
where
want to be at
the
a
way I
deposition's
understand
office.
The theory of defendant's theory is that Ms. Bradley is going to become a witness in the case. There's evidence that, based upon a flip-flop in the Brady notices, if they come back and they want to use Ms. Bradley to impeach Detective Moretti during the trial, that they have good faith basis to call her as a witness in the case. So how am I
Dang, so
supposed to
now
let
the
an
lady
assistant
gonna be
state
a
attorney
witness
stay
in
on
the case?
if she's a possible witness?
This is all moved way past the way normal Brady issues would be handled.
Typically, what I do when I have a Brady, there's some issue about it, the prosecutor who's involved in it tells me, she comes in here, she's got an obligation of candor to the court, and I ask her a question, and she advises me as to what's going on and why there's a change, why something like that. But she's not here. This is her case. We spent 2 or 3 months trying the case originally. It came to a hung jury, but she's not here for this. I don't understand that.
Oh my, dude, this is more intense than I anticipated. I thought this was going to be a casual hearing of solving shit. No, there's like anger.
Forgive me, I don't understand it. It's her case.
I like your mullet.
She's supposed to be here. These allegations are very serious, and they include allegations
Y'all
of her.
can't tell boy got a nice
before.
mullet, bro. This thing right here.
I can
Explain it to court.
He's fucking stuttering too, dude.
As the lead counsel and on the case.
I would think she'd want to be here.
Pardon?
I would think she'd want to be here. How is it? How does it make it different? She's the one who signed 3 different Brady notices, and they're different. How is that she doesn't think she should be here for this hearing? When they're asking to recuse her, as well as your office, from the trying the case, and she's not here. Forgive me, I don't understand it. Why don't you find
So
out
if
where
she
she's
can't try the
at?
case, who will?
Make a phone call. We'll take a recess. Make a phone call, find out where she's at. I don't understand it.
Damn! Free Melly!
I just muted it. Tensions are running high, and now a recess to go find the lead prosecutor who's accused of hiding Brady material from the defense. I'm literally baffled at what is going on right now. This is insane. He seems happy about it. Now Christine Bradley just walked in. Here we go.
Good morning.
She just said she was at some sort of deposition, I think.
I would have thought you'd been here, but regardless, I didn't want to go any further without you being
Bro,
here.
I don't like how I'm covering the words.
All the stuff about your credibility, your integrity, and everything else. So I
I'm a
thought you needed to be
movie
here.
this case, I can't.
All right. Ms. Boutros, is that why you're here? You okay?
I am. I'm okay. Thank you.
They're asking if she's okay because she's been saying she was sick and working from home for a while, but this is going to be some serious shit right here. She's about to come up to the stand, boys.
Excuse me, Ms. Boutros is here, and my understanding she's willing to testify. So if they want to put her on and call her as a witness, they can.
This guy's trying to stop her from going up there. One of the guys at the state attorney's office. That's crazy. What? This is a state attorney that went on record saying that the state attorney's office knew about Brady information that they did not disclose to the defense.
The Broward County State Attorney.
Y'all know what's crazy? Not to pause the video, but if none of this information would have came out, bro, and they would have gave bro the death penalty or whatever, and none of this information would have came out, y'all know how fucked up that would have been? Like, that would have been so fucked up. Like, this shit would have just came out after after he dead and all that shit and all this information came out. They would have spent the bands.
In the public corrections unit. We investigate public officials who are engaged in criminal conduct, but my goal has always been to be transparent and to provide the defense with any information that they deem that they might need.
Not for no
Jamal
medical.
Demons and his mother, and the allegation was that they were tampering with 2 witnesses by the name of Holmes and the ex-girlfriend and the mother of the ex-girlfriend on the 7th floor of the state attorney's office. It's a small room. Detective Moretti and I were sitting on one side of the table. Ms. King and Mr. Trackman were sitting on the other side of the table. When we initially began the statement,
Have you ever met Detective Moretti before?
I have not met him. No history with Ms. Brad yet. I've been very cordial towards each other. Initially, Sergeant from Broward Sheriff's Office, Sergeant Hendricks, who I do know, was standing in the room. I didn't really think very much about it. I had approved the search warrant the day before. I didn't speak with Detective Moretti about when he was going to serve the search warrant. It was there, I didn't really think about it, and we started the statement, and then at that point, Sergeant Hendricks left the room. Detective Moretti asked most of the questions during the statement.
And then you said?
Detective Moretti made a decision that I was unaware of at the time to serve the search warrant.
So she said all this during her deposition, but now's the time where Moretti apparently grabs Melly's mom's phone out of her hand and like she yells and it's a whole big scuffle, and then he asks the police officer to lie on record saying he was present in the room because he left. The BSO deputy left. It was outside of his jurisdiction essentially.
I approved the search warrant. I assumed he would serve it that night, the next day. I really hadn't thought about it. During the service of the search warrant, it was Mr. Trackman, Ms. King, Detective Moretti, and myself.
Anybody from BSO?
No. Reached into her purse, and she was fumbling with her phone.
Did you know what she was doing?
You know, it's a phone, so she has this phone. That's, you know, I couldn't tell you what type of phone she had. She was pressing buttons on it. And Detective Moretti was saying over and over again, don't turn off that phone, don't turn off that phone. I knew she was doing something on her phone. I just couldn't swear to exactly what it was that she was doing on her phone. It looked like she was turning off her phone or sending a message or doing something on it. I just couldn't tell there was a scuffle going on. Physically took the phone from her.
Okay. Now, there was no BSO deputy in the room, correct?
Correct.
This was BSO jurisdiction of the courthouse, correct?
Correct.
So Detective Moretti did not have
Confident
the
as hell,
authority
bro.
to
She's not
serve that search
lying.
warrant, correct?
I would always recommend that if you're not in your jurisdiction, that there's case law that suggests that you should have somebody from the jurisdiction that you're serving a search warrant or an arrest warrant in. It was probably not what he should have been doing without a BSO deputy there. Detective Moretti, and I'm trying to calm everybody down. So I was like, you really need to give over your phone. It looks like you're trying to turn off your phone. You need to, it's a search warrant, and Mr. Trackman was very upset, and he did tell her she needed to give up the phone, and eventually Detective Moretti got the phone from her. He physically took it out of her hand. It was like a yelp. It was like I can't really describe it any other way, but there was physical contact between Detective Moretti and Miss King, and during that physical contact of him taking the phone, yelped. Miss King needed to call her employer, she said, and she asked if she could please have her phone to call her employer. Detective Moretti would not allow her to have her phone. He suggested that he would get it back to her as soon as possible, maybe even that day.
That motherfucker lied. The phone still hasn't been returned to her. It's a year later.
Damn.
I understand because I read Mr. Trackman's motion to return property, and I told him, I said, listen, I said, I can't work with Detective Moretti anymore. Once they leave the room, Deputy Gorell, who I didn't know his name, he came into the room, and Detective Moretti looked at him and said, Detective Moretti said to Deputy Morell, you need to say you were here when I served that search warrant. And it was kind of like an awkward moment. I'm like, this isn't like, I'm in the twilight, so like, this can't really be happening. Deputy Gorell didn't say anything of any substance. I think he said, is there anything I'm needed for anymore, or something like that. I don't remember if he said anything at all. It was just a very awkward moment after Detective Moretti said that to me. No, I don't say anything to Moretti. I leave the room, I'm done with the statement. As far as I'm concerned, I'm done investigating this case. Because I don't work with detectives that solicit lies.
Wow. We have a fucking state attorney saying this man lied.
I reported it immediately on that day to Mr. Killian. I learned that Ms. Bradley told administration that Moretti told her that he was joking when he said what he said.
He jokes about that.
You heard that Ms. Bradley gave another statement to administration.
I heard.
Do I sustain that objection? Ask the next question.
I did not ask what the substance of it was.
I sustain the objection. Ask the next question.
After I had the meeting with Mr. Killian and he relayed to me what he relayed to me about what Ms. Bradley had told administration, my assumption was that it was handled. Internal Affairs in Miramar wanted to take my statement. I gave my statement to IA, and nothing really happened until the defense filed a motion. I believe it was the motion to compel my name.
So this lady right here assumed that Christine Bradley would disclose all this to Melly's team, but they didn't.
I was pissed about it. Like, is there a notice? I kept checking on safes like 100 times to see if a notice had been filed, because we did have a meeting after it was closed, again, with Mr. Pryor, Mr. Killian, and myself. And during that meeting, I said, I really feel like this needs to be disclosed. And Mr. Pryor agreed with me.
Sustain.
I had began before then, kind of looking into
Sustain. There's
it.
no question pending. Ask your next question.
She keeps going on tangents, answering more and describing the story more, but then she realizes that she was never even asked a question about what she's talking about.
I was asking Mr.
Excuse
Killian,
me. I sustain the objection. Ask another question.
Reddy said it, but he was joking back in October of 2022.
Oh, yeah,
And at that point, we all agreed there was going to be a notice sent. Not that he had forgotten, this is what was said. He said it, and Christine said he said it.
But were there any overt signs that you saw of joking? He laughed, he chuckled, he winked, or anything?
No.
You took it as a true statement.
Correct.
Bro tried to backtrack and say he was joking about that, dude. That is so funny. He got caught in his little lie trying to solicit another police officer, dude. That is so bad for a detective, man.
I told Mr. Benjamin about the incident on the 12th. I told Mr. Benjamin about the discussions related to whether Moretti said it was joking. I told Mr. Benjamin that Ms. Bradley had said to administration.
She think she told me that. We are not only accusing Ms. Bradley of needing to be recused, but the entire state attorney's office needs to be recused. And part of that is to show institutional prejudice. or institutional
Florida really
action.
fucked
So the
up.
things that you have
Crazy.
not permitted us to go into as to what did the administration do and whatnot, that goes directly to whether or not we have the administration, the state attorney's office actively involved in suppressing this information or turning a blind eye on it.
And I might be getting my dates mixed up, but that Christine sent a text message to Miss Falk that stated that she never said.
Kind of all over the place because she keeps trying to say what other people said and what other people did or whatever, but it just makes her look kind of bad. I wish this lawyer right here would ask her a little bit more clean questions and not make her have to go on tangents explaining certain things. But
The emails that I reviewed were directions that should not be filed because it was inaccurate.
damn, she said they were filing inaccurate Brady notices.
Miss Bradley probably shouldn't be calling me a liar in this situation because I had learned that she had done that the day before in front of a group of people in the office.
She said you were lying.
Yes.
Bro, this is so intense. People calling each other liars in the state attorney's office, dude. Bro's got the glasses that go all the way around his head.
Detective already told her that Detective already asked Deputy Gorel. That Deputy Gorel was there when the phone was seized, and Deputy Gorel responded something to the effect of, "I can be if you need me to be." Was Deputy Gorel trying to be funny?
No.
Did you even hear him say anything that?
No.
All right, so that was Michelle Boutros's testimony to what happened in that room with Moretti and Melly's mom, which is basically what she said in her deposition. But now the lead prosecutor, Christine Bradley.
That the recollection and whatever he said at that time, that there was no request for.
You can tell she's evil, bro. Look at her. She's evil. Look at her, bro. You can't tell me it don't look like she on the song.
Anyone to lie or anything to that nature.
But okay, let's go back to it. So, Detective
Look how she
Moretti, you
moving.
know
What the
that
fuck
Ms.
on her?
Boutros.
Wait. Why is she flipping around like
You
this? What is
feel
she
me,
doing?
bro? Like,
I'm so uncomfortable. Is that like her like having a little bit of an attitude, or is that just her mannerisms? I can't tell yet.
Never going to work with Detective Moretti again, and call him slimy and untrustworthy.
Correct.
Sustain. Rephrase your question.
This is intense. This is her credibility on the line here, and also the lead detective on the case credibility that she wants to maintain a good image for. So
Was it before or after the last crime?
Before.
And do you know who was around when the internal affairs investigation was over? Or was it before that?
It was before that. I contacted the Miramar Police Department to find out the status of the complaint because my understanding it was never elevated to an actual investigation because they found it without merit. Detective Moretti asked him something to the effect of, "Were you outside when this all happened?" Detective
Were you outside, is what you're saying?
Yes, when this all happened. Detective Gorel replied something to the effect of, "I can be."
it's crazy because they never thought they would be going against each other type shit. Like, they all thought they was one team, and that shit just, like, blowing up in a fucking face. That shit's crazy.
If you needed me to. Basically, Detective
God,
Gorel
don't like ugly, boy.
reviewed the surveillance
Show
footage,
that.
went to the wrong conference room, and was on his phone wandering about the 7th floor trying to find it.
she just said that Deputy Gorel was wandering around on his phone trying to find a certain conference room. Moretti was just asking him if he was there outside hanging around or something. And she's also explaining that since Moretti denied this question even came out of his mouth, that they didn't look into it any further. So they just trusted the faith of a lead detective when a state attorney is saying he said something else and was basically soliciting someone to lie.
Any validity to it. I asked him if there was any validity,
Okay.
and that was his response.
Get this old motherfucker a hearing aid, dude. He said asked her like 5 times.
You decided not to file Brady notice. Is that a fair statement?
No, based on Detective Moretti's statement, Deputy Gorel's report that also denied any such thing has had.
Basically didn't file a Brady notice because even the deputy also said that didn't happen, but they could just both be lying. So there was no real internal investigation into what really happened in this situation, and she was like, fuck it, I won't file a Brady notice.
Doesn't Detective Moretti say it was a joke and Deputy Gorel say it didn't occur?
Deputy Gorel says he was told he was not needed in his report. Detective Moretti doesn't mention anything about BSO assisting.
Not to send out a Brady notice disregarding what a fellow prosecutor said that she heard and took the word of the deputies. Is that
Yo, boy.
Objection, Your Honor, now. Sustain.
It is a fact, though, that you did have a fellow prosecutor who did say this did occur, correct?
Yes, and said fellow prosecutor also did not request any police reports to be done or do any additional documentation if something had happened to immediately follow up on such event if it had occurred.
She got a little attitude on her. You kind of have to if you're a prosecutor, though, and I understand because her credibility's on the line.
No, nigga.
The first Brady notice that was filed in this case, I believe, was in February of 2023.
Bro, tripping, bro.
Why she did what she did related to the case.
Thank you, sustained.
Dude, I understand why they're sustaining these because they can't get into nitty-gritty details of like an ongoing investigation, I believe, but we're never going to be able to find out if this was really withheld for months on end intentionally. We're not going to be able to find out because everything just gets sustained.
Party to any of the meetings or anything that Ms. Boutros had, so I couldn't tell you on that.
As far as you're concerned, what changed?
In terms of filing
You don't give the Brady notice in...
He's trying to find out why she didn't file it. And I think, dude, I'm going to be honest, I think it was intentional. They were withholding it. They were trying to withhold it and hopefully get a fucking guilty verdict and avoid having their fucking lead detective look like a liar in front of the jury. That's what that was. I'm sorry. That's what it seems like. We'll never know because the judge will just sustain anything.
And who were these conversations with?
I don't object.
You're saying that there are incorrect statements of fact.
that is correct.
And the incorrect statement is that you were not told by Moretti that he was guilty.
That is correct.
Oh my god, someone sent out a Brady notice that had false shit in it in their office. She's saying it's false, at least, about it being a joke. That was never discussed.
Burrell responded in a very flippant manner when asked about showing up
Flippant manner to whom?
to Detective Moretti.
Oh, so Gorell denies that he was joking in his response. Moretti, dude, it all comes back to Moretti. It looks like Moretti might be lying about the situation. That's just my honest opinion of it, but, you know.
I did not say that Moretti said that he had made a joke in any way, shape, or form.
So you've never made the statement that Moretti said he was joking?
My statement was, at all times, and if it was ever not clear or misinterpreted by whoever was listening to it, was that Deputy Gorell made the statement that was of a flippant nature. I was not present. Can't tell you exactly what happened.
Well, Moretti denies that, though, doesn't he?
I haven't talked to him about it since then.
What? Dude, this is so weird and confusing. I think Moretti's a liar in this situation.
Who knew what when, whether anything was done about it, not the reasons why, not the opinions of law, but the facts of who knew what when, and what happened that we're sitting here a couple days before trial without the benefit of knowing all that, and whose fault it was that we're sitting here 2 days before trial, years after this happened.
I agree with him. I think they should know all this information. It's ridiculous if they don't, and I think it's kind of bullshit. Clearly something happened behind the scenes because Moretti says one thing, Deputy Gorell says one thing, and then the state attorney says one thing. There's three different variations to this situation.
Seasoned prosecutor with 20 years experience testifies that she heard this man say it. And then the case is just given back to the particular prosecutor on this first-degree murder case seeking death penalty against Mr. Devins. And then she says, well, I looked at the statement and I didn't know about this and I didn't do anything about it. We want to show that nobody did anything about it, and that if she compartmentalizes it into saying, oh, I only knew this little bit, so it wasn't my responsibility, well, they sat for a year and never even bothered to see whether or not one of their own prosecutors' sworn testimony that the lead detective tried to suborn perjury was thrown under the rug and never investigated.
This trial's not starting next week. I can promise you that. Two of them next week they're figuring out, and then the week of the 16th, October 16th, they're figuring out, because apparently they have to start the trial by the 21st of October, like by law, because there was a mistrial. It's like a speedy trial law.
Rare instances where the elected state attorney is a witness, and that's why we want to call him, that's why we still want to call him, that's why we think his evidence, if we believe that's what he's going to say, goes right.
Dude, this is wild. They're asking to put the elected state attorney as a witness and other state attorneys as witnesses in the trial. All right, boys, that's pretty much it. I gotta edit this.
Free Melly, man. Free Melly. It ain't gonna count. It sound like they just been holding information just to get bro killed, bro. Like, get him death penalty. Like, that's what it just really sound like, in all honesty, bro. But, you know, that's what they do. That's their job. They're evil. They're trying to put anybody in jail. Like, that's what they meant to do, bro. So, I don't know. I really think bro coming home. No cap. I really think he coming home. Free Melly, man. I ain't got nothing to say. About Cuff Boys, boy, I appreciate you. That was a W video. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that. Y'all know what to do, man. Run it up. You did.